Hi, today we have Akash Shrivastava, landscape designer from Anjuna Architects. It's privilege to have him with us for our podcast session. He is a national award winner for landscape designing. He has designed a project at Manipur. For that he was awarded a national award. Hi sir, welcome.
Hi.
I'm Roop from A&I Magazine.
Hi.
How are you sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great
Yeah.
sir. So lucky to have you here sir.
Yeah.
And feel privileged that we are talking to a Hyderabadi guy who received a national award completing his project in Manipur.
Yeah.
Very proud of you, sir.
Thank you.
You make entire Hyderabad city proud, sir.
Sure. Thank you.
Can you just tell us something about landscape, sir? Your journey about landscape designing?
Uh, well, it was a very unexpected journey because the journey started when I got my bachelor's in architecture, but my specialization was in landscape.
Okay.
And our college was the only one in India which used to provide that specialization. But to get a better understanding, I needed to do a master's in landscape architecture to get the entire essence of what landscape architecture is about. So I did my master's from Sept University, where it was 2 years of grilling, and grilling in a way that you know what landscape architecture is finally when you come out of it. And then I came back and I went back to the same firm where I had done my internship, and then I worked there for almost 9 months, and then I was like, I should start on my own. And then I just went out in the market, and I actually didn't have any projects in hand, but I wanted to do something on my own. And we had already decided, so me, Ajitesh, Deepu, who are my partners, we have already decided we wanted to start a firm together, but they were still working and I had quit.
Okay.
So I just went out in the market trying to find projects, reaching out to my seniors, my batchmates who have started out, if there's anything, there's collaboration, or through my contacts and all. And then during that phase, so Deepu is from Manipur, so he contacted me saying there's a project and we are supposed to design the landscape and you have to do it. And we were like, fine. And so the project is actually a privately owned project, but it's for public. So that was a very beautiful concept that came across. He wanted to build a public park, but the land belonged to him. He wanted more public spaces for Manipuri people. So as the project was between two hills, we called it In the Valley.
In the Valley.
Yeah. And so the entire project was based on the cultural aspect of Manipur, the biodiversity that Manipur has, and taking all the small integral, things that Manipur has to offer, and they've put in together, and then the entire project was taken, as a whole. And then we had sent this, we thought I think from one of our seniors, we got to know that, HUTCO has this national thing that goes on every year where they call in for projects across the country in different segments. So we thought, let's send in this project and see what happens. And by then, I think a month before we opened our office, it was announced that we won.
Great.
So, we were opening our office. Now we are opening a office with a national award, which became like a big thing.
Very good.
And added that pressure, you can't really go down now. You have to keep going.
Benchmark. Yes. It's a different benchmark for you. And as you're already holding a national award for a project before opening the office.
Yes, and we had to keep going forward with, luckily, I think by God's grace, plus, knowing the right people at the right time or coming across right people at the right time. So one of my first projects as well, I was also T-Hub Phase 2 landscape. Which
is like one of the most landmark project you can say in Hyderabad.
Yes, T-Hub. So T-Hub, then T-Hub ki wajah se, then I got IT Towers Siddipet, then from IT Towers Siddipet, IT Towers Nagol. And then while this was going on, there were different government projects going on. And then we are doing a project with Telangana Medicinal Plant Board called Biosyn Medica. It's a 24-acre park which is coming near Aziz Nagar.
Oh. And
we got the second national award for that project.
Great.
Yeah.
So Anjuna Architects have 2 national awards with them.
Yes.
Right. Great.
And with that project, the main thing was it's completely medicinal plant based.
Okay.
So everything that we are using there has medicinal value and properties. So it is to create awareness through medicinal plants. And then we also explored Biocin Medica is basically biodiversity through medicinal plants.
Okay.
So we are trying to use between 600 to 800 species of plants there. And we have created about 8 acres of Miyawaki forest using only medicinal plants. And I can say using only medicinal plants, I don't think in India anyone has done that big quantity of project. And those have already grown. Others are still going, planting is still going on. But yeah, so ये project का we also had a publication done in Griha magazine.
Okay.
Where
this Hyderabad project.
Yes.
Of 24. Okay.
So the whole idea was to showcase through landscape how we can create public spaces which are net positive and can become a carbon sink.
Okay.
So the whole aspect of our project was how we can capture carbon through this project, and how through this project we can change the microbiodiversity of the region, can modify to such certain extents microclimate. So as it was a government project, government has been really helpful to conduct all these different kind of studies and create datas and everything. So we have all those with us.
Okay.
And then like that we have one by one doing different kind of projects. And the major challenge sometimes is convincing the client or the government in certain to what our idea is, what our vision is, because landscape is something which people are still not familiar with.
My next question was that only. Sorry to interrupt it. I was thinking that only before pandemic, there was, people doesn't even think about landscape designer, hiring a landscape designer. They used to get done on the road. Very few in Hyderabad, especially I'm talking about Hyderabad. But now it has grown tremendously.
Yes.
So I was just thinking that only how you opted for being a landscape architect while doing your architecture. Why you have selected that subject?
See, as I said, it was like fate. Okay, क्योंकि
it was told for you कि भाई pandemic COVID आने वाला है, landscape बढ़ने वाला है, better I opt that.
Fate in terms of that, and then also when I did my bachelor's and then I had that landscape specialization, I had to take it somewhere.
Yes.
I didn't imagine it going in this manner, but also realization that when we were doing masters, we got to know how few landscape architects are there in the country. I think might be a wrong number, might be an old number. I think only 1,500 or so in the country who are practicing in the country.
Yes.
And for a country like India, just having that many is very less, but the kind of potential we have is really high. So if done it in the right way, there's a lot to do. Plus, if you do landscape, it's not just about farmhouses, it's not about doing designs for residences and communities. It's also about other aspects which we are fighting about. Climate change is a major aspect where a landscape architect can actually play a very vital role of how to tackle it to a certain extent, give out solutions in terms of biodiversity. How can we improve that? How can we improve a land area where it can actually become a carbon sink? There are also projects which are going on in China and in Singapore and all, where how flood management systems are being taken care by the landscape architects. So across the country, we do every monsoon we have these news in Bombay, Chennai, and other places where we see all these things coming up.
We have seen in Himachal Pradesh. It was very badly flooded.
So taking those measures and involving a landscape architect, because we are trained and we are taught in different aspects. We are taught geology, we are taught soil, we are taught biodiversity, we are taught about plants, we are taught about so many different aspects of landscape that it's like a second nature for us to understand all the layers together and then come out with a design solution.
और एक और चीज़ सर, जैसे हम लोग देखते हैं घर में हम लोग छोटे बड़े पौधे लगाते हैं, झाड़ लगाते हैं, तो उनसे ही हमको प्यार हो जाता है, बिकॉज दैट इज द लिविंग थिंग. कहीं ना तो कहीं हम जाके कनेक्ट हो जाते हैं उससे. सो लैंडस्केप माइट बी दैट काइंड ऑफ फील्ड ओनली. आप जो भी साइट वगैरह करते हो उससे आप भी कहीं ना तो कहीं इमोशनली पर्सनल लेवल पे कनेक्ट होते होंगे सर. ऐसा कुछ होता है सर कभी?
Sometimes yes and sometimes no,
Okay.
because it's a part of the profession.
आप लोगों के प्रोफेशन में आता है.
हाँ,
हम लोग जो घर पे लगाते हैं ना उससे हम लोग इमोशनली कनेक्ट हो
हाँ,
जाते हैं.
see, so luckily I have had a few clients who have given me all the freedom.
Okay.
They're like, you do your best, we want the best, and who give you the freedom, and then you are passionately involved in the project, where you give your best, where you want something very close to the family. Especially if you're designing a residential property, you have to get involved with the family. You have to get on one-on-one because it's a private space.
Yes. Very
Ki the way I would design for you, I would not design for someone else, because your requirements, the way you look at things would be very different, and for someone else it would be completely different. It might just be the opposite. For you it might be something very minimalistic, and for someone else it might be those very, flashy kind of a design, because they like that. So depending client to client, project to project, yes, some are very close to heart.
Yeah.
And some are for project's sake.
So, is there any difference in when it comes to your landscape designing, doing it for commercial project like T Hub or IT parks and all, and doing it for some high-rise zone? Does it have any difference
Yes.
approach? Sir?
Yeah, so we do have differences. See, when you're doing it for IT parks and all, the language sometimes tend to be a little more formal. Even though you try and get people outdoors, people are coming there and spending certain amount of time, but it's all work related or to relax or something of that sort. Whereas when you're designing it for a community, for a high rise, it becomes entirely about what a person is doing from morning to night, like how at different times a community can be formed there. So it is more of a informal kind of a language that comes around. Then there are other kind of amenities that would come around, especially in Hyderabad market. Amenities are like the major thing. You cannot design, like, the amount of amenities you can give out, that is the USP for your project.
100%.
So, the amount of amenities that you can incorporate, the kind of messaging that you want to send out through the design can also become one important aspect. Like if you say T-Hub, may we have spaces so that, it becomes like a co-working space, right? So people coming outside and working and all. Now, co-working spaces, we also sometimes give in outdoor projects now in communities. So one of the projects, Sukhi Ubuntu, is very close, where it is designed for the community, keeping community very close to mind. So there, I think that is one of my most exciting projects, because we have 3 basements, but it's open from the back because of the road level. So all the 3 basements are landscape. The podium is landscape. The 38 stories is landscaped, and the terraces are joint and landscape.
Okay.
So the amount of green that is going to come in that building is a lot.
So you can say that it's entirely landscape building from all the sides.
Yeah, from whatever side, like 2 major sides that you see, the longer sides, there are 3 towers. So all the 3 towers from 2 longer sides will have complete green pocket from on all the 36 floors.
So जो basement में जो आपने landscape किया है, generally बोलते हैं ना सब, there should be a natural sunlight.
So that's what I'm saying, no, because of the contour level.
Okay.
Our site is actually some 15 odd meters below the road level.
Okay.
तो पीछे से पूरा खुला है.
Okay.
So you get all the natural light, and plus we have a canal running, so we have a 9-meter buffer as well.
Okay.
So niche actually a lot of amenities which would eat up spaces have actually gone down. And on your podium, it's all about community gathering spaces, community coming together, cultural spaces. You have kids play areas, and what we are also trying to introduce over here is flea markets. So on weekends, what we have noticed is in some of the communities, they let in these food trucks come in on Sundays.
Yeah.
Right? For आज क्यों बनाए खाना? Someone comes in and
yes, होता है townships में, societies
हाँ, and plus if you go on different streets, Kondapur se, Somajiguda and all those, sometimes you see these vegetable markets are being set up, right? So what we thought, can we introduce that in this society itself?
Okay. So
we have a dedicated space that we are trying to give, where on weekend this space can be utilized. and people are allowed to move in, and as it's going to house about 800 families, that's a big community.
Very big company.
So even
Almost 2,500 people if you calculate 4% per family.
so even if a part of them come and do it, it's still going to be a profitable thing for
100%,
the
100%. And moreover, nowadays everyone needs the facilities at their doorstep.
yes. So it is how you can get communities coming together and working and all of that, and plus people are, it's a hybrid work system. Some are working from home, some are going to office. So as I said, T Hub, you come to office and then come outdoors, and here you can just go to your terrace and start working.
True.
So we have provided spaces for that. Plus another aspect nowadays which is going on a lot is pet parks. So having a pet park in your community is quite important.
Yes.
So designing those. So I wouldn't design a pet park as such. As of now, I did not get an opportunity to do in a
Yes.
IT park or something, but in community, yes.
When it comes to जैसे architecture and interiors है, requirements are confined कि भाई जैसे घर बन रहा है तो पता था कि हमको एक किचन चाहिए, हमको ऐसे 3 बेडरूम चाहिए, उसमें सन्स के लिए रहेगा, डॉटर के लिए रहेगा. लैंडस्केप के लिए जनरली होता है, बिकॉज हम लोगों को इतना पता नहीं है सर, इसलिए ऑनेस्टली आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ कि लैंडस्केप जब आप करते हो किसी रेसिडेंशियल प्रोजेक्ट के लिए, सो उनके रिक्वायरमेंट्स कैसे आते हैं सर? मतलब व्हाट डू दे से अबाउट द रिक्वायरमेंट्स, बिकॉज इट इज न्यू फॉर एवरीवन. इवन प्लांटर के नेम भी ऐसे हैं कि घर वालों को भी पता नहीं होता है. इट इज ओनली यू जिनको पता होता है, या फिर वो जो नर्सरी वाले हैं उनको पता होता है. सो डज दे, हाउ डू दे गिव द रिक्वायरमेंट्स टू यू सर?
So that's why I said कि it becomes very important to talk to the family.
Yeah, you said it
to
is starting.
to understand how they function.
Okay.
What their requirements might be.
Yeah.
So for me, for landscape, as you said, yes, architecture, interiors, my roles are defined. For landscape, I have to define the roles.
Very true.
So first, I need to understand what are the hobbies. What do you like doing when you're
Their
free?
likes and dislikes.
Yeah, do you like plants? Some people don't really like plants.
Yeah.
Also,
Yes.
they want really low maintenance plants. कि
Yes.
जितना कम करे उतना अच्छा
Yes.
है. Give us more of hardscape. Some people are like who wants like a jungle kind of a feel. So with different families, different kind of settings, we have to kind of cater to those. Then there are some families who would want to have big parties. So there are keywords that I have to take in from them and then make my own
Understand
list.
their lifestyle, then design their landscape.
Yes.
Yeah, understand their color likings and everything. According to that, you plan the planters.
Yes.
Okay.
So it has to be like that.
And sir, when it comes to like landscape designer, generally the areas are huge.
Yeah.
Generally.
Yeah.
Because if you do like you're doing a big park like IT park and all, we can't even predict the area. वो कभी 10 एकड़ भी हो सकता है, कभी 20 एकड़ भी हो सकता है, कभी 5 एकड़ भी हो सकता है. So you go, your forte is only towards consultancy, or you do it with turnkey contracts, ताकि with everything.
So there are very few projects where we are taking in terms of execution.
Okay.
Again, those projects need to be something which I'm really passionate about.
Okay.
Because there are times where you really want to do the project, but you can't do it in terms of execution because there would be certain kind of conflict, and you want to cut off your roles to a consultancy role.
Okay.
So, and sometimes there are clients who prefer that they have their own contractors, they have their own team. So we mostly do consultancy, but there are few projects where I have taken it like where very close to my heart, and even client was very insistent of us taking it in terms of turnkey.
One more thing sir, can you say like generally क्या होता है, as starting your first project you did in Manipur, lucky that was a stepping stone only, that you got national award. Again you did one project in Hyderabad, there also you got a national award. Apart from these two projects, any such kind of project which has given you different name in the market, कि भाई वो बोलते हैं ना सर, एक अपने को एक स्टेपिंग स्टोन मिलता है लाइफ में, इस काम से हमारा पूरा लोगों का नजरिया हमारे प्रति चेंज हो जाता है. Something of that sort.
I'm still not aware of what that is.
Okay.
I'm still not aware. Hopefully people let me know if there is something, because it's still really early for me. It's been.
आप नहीं बोल सकते सर early, because आपने early stage में बहुत कुछ कर लिया है.
Yeah, but then see.
और सिर्फ डेस्टिनेशन ही मिलता है सर नेशनल अवार्ड, बीइंग वेरी ऑनेस्ट.
Yeah.
कहीं ना तो कहीं हमने वहाँ पे बहुत कुछ अच्छा किया है. रीजन होता है ना सर,
Yeah.
बिकॉज इट इज नॉट अ स्मॉल थिंग दैट यू व्हाट यू हैव फर्म हैज गॉट इट और यू हैव रिसीव्ड इट. समथिंग वहाँ पे कुछ डिफरेंट हुआ रहेगा जो सबको पसंद आया, बिकॉज ऐसे अवार्ड्स जो ना सर दैट मैटर्स अ लॉट इन द
Yeah.
लाइफ. तो आप ये नहीं बोल सकते कि इट इज टू अर्ली फॉर यू. डेफिनेटली यू हैव अचीव्ड समथिंग वेरी गुड जो कुछ लोग 20-20 साल 25-25 साल के एक्सपीरियंस में भी नहीं ले पाते हैं सर. You would like to give some message to the aspiring landscape designer or a vendor related to this industry, sir?
Well, see, the only thing that I would like to say is there's a lot of potential in India. There's a lot to do, and very few of us to do this work. So definitely, a lot more people would definitely help. And to vendors and to anyone related to landscape is, I think, understanding and deepening the thought process over the whole idea of what landscape architecture could be or is needs to be a little more. So yeah, I think that would be it. Otherwise, there's a lot more a person can do in landscape.
Okay. And like in our magazine, sir, A&I magazine, earlier we have featured two landscape designers, sir. One was Soumya and other was Mushraf, sir. So now we are getting a landscape designers in Hyderabad to get featured in the magazine. Would you like to say something about our magazine? How do you feel about our magazine? How do you like the concept? How is our magazine quality? Something about our magazine.
So it's actually a really nice concept where you get to see not only landscape projects but architecture and interior projects across the city of different architects and designers. Sometimes you do get to meet some of them, and sometimes you just don't get an opportunity because everyone's busy in their own lives. So through this, at least you start getting an understanding of what are the trends that are going on in the city, how people are perceiving different field, and it's quite exciting to see some good work really coming out of Hyderabad. So that would be very important here.
Would like to feature your site in future, sir. Give us a chance to feature any of your site.
Yeah, so
whichever you feel.
We just have to find a time to get some photo shoots done, which we are already in talks with. And once those are in place, I think we would be approaching you.
Thank you, sir. It was wonderful talking to you. Had a great discussion with you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.